Welcome to Foster Your Space, the podcast where certified professional organizer Michelle Conway shares practical strategies and heartfelt insights to help you create calm, order, and beauty in your home and life. Whether you're managing clutter, craving more peace, or just don't know where to start, you're in the right place.
Welcome to the Foster Organizing Podcast, and we're going to explore the stuff that fills our lives. So that means in our homes, our heads, of course, and how to let go of what's holding us. And so I'm your host, Michelle Conway, and I have my very distinguished, very first guest, Jonathan Amundsen of Iron Mind Hypnosis.
Hi.
Hello. So today is a very special episode because it's not just the first one, but, I think you and I sort of have a kindredship here because I think you have a brilliant mind and both of us are in the realm of helping people develop better habits and let go of the ones that have been holding us back for whatever reason. So
it's so important too.
It is. It's very important. And I have the pleasure of knowing you through our networking group, the BNI Kent Networkers. So shout out to the crew at the ridiculous hour. Sorry, but it is really, really early. But still, we make it work. And they've got coffee. Thank God. But one of the reasons I put you on here too is because I think we've had some really good conversations. Even before we started this today, we had some really good in-depth conversations. And I really enjoy that. And they're very intellectually stimulating for me. So
Thank you.
But it kind of I think we really want to get to kind of the subconscious of clutter, right? And it's not just the physical clutter of our surroundings, but it's also the mental clutter, as you very well know too. And I think they go hand in hand.
Certainly.
So just a little bit about you. So you're the founder of Iron Mind Hypnosis, and you're a certified hypnotist, excuse me.
Yes.
Certified hypnotist. You help people break deeply ingrained habits such as smoking, drinking, procrastination, people pleasing, money blocks, so on and so forth. Even, things that might just be mentally holding them back, even if it's not a physical manifestation of something.
What's obviously my passion is around helping people stop smoking. And I also get a lot of folks who come to me with random things that they don't want to admit to their friends and family, or maybe things that I will never see again. Like it's a one-off. They're the one person that I'm likely to encounter in this life who has that particular problem, but it's driving them nuts.
Yeah.
And it's getting in the way of the things they actually care about. And basically any problem that you're having is at some way tied in with the unconscious mind, whether that's unconscious behavior or the way that we're processing our external world emotionally.
Yeah.
Our unconscious mind is kind of a big player in that. And when we start talking to the unconscious mind in a supportive, uplifting way, it will play ball with us and we'll get what we need out of this life.
Yeah. No, I think that's very well said. So one of the things I also wanted to note too is you participated or collaborated with a book called The Change, Insights into Self-Empowerment, right?
Yeah.
And where you talk about subconscious reprogramming can be a real missing piece for that ultimate lasting change.
Honestly, my contribution to that book is really thinking about change as a scientific process, the scientific method paradigm. Like we try a thing and we see what our results are. We compare that with where we want to go and we try again. It's testing a hypothesis. I want to have more flow in this area of my life. Let me take a measurement of how much flow I've got. And some things are more quantitative than others. And we go, okay, I think this thing will help. And maybe it's an organization app, a time management app, a calendar or something like that. And you play with that for a day or a week or something like that. And you go, is this working? And if it's working, you go, great, let's do more of this. And if it's not working, you go, I wonder why it's not. And you do another hypothesis. It was that book is actually 20 different authors, and a lot of them telling their story, and it's really inspirational. So it's great to work with the folks who help me create that, really.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think, again, great minds think alike, but at the same time, you'll have something different to contribute. And it's kind of the sum of all the parts really give it that value that everybody needs, because some people can resonate with one area of it, and, each person's individual. So I'm going to have to check that out. So, um, okay. So one of the things that, we know about each other, but one of the things that really hit home for me, especially when I first met you, was your passion about helping people stop smoking. So as you know, I lost my mother to COPD, um, but I still had people who I love dearly who continue to smoke. They know what she went through. They know what I went through, but it's got their hooks into them.
Yeah.
And so it is personal. And even with all the knowledge and heartache, I can't reach them. And I understand it's something they have to be able to do on their own. I can't make it, no matter how much fact and evidence that I give them. They know what it does.
Yeah.
But it's very frustrating for me because I feel like there's got to be something I can do better, but I know I've done everything I can. So just the work that you do to help people break those chains, I feel very passionate about, and I feel very supportive of that. But I think it's also ties into everything else too, because it's not just one thing, right? Like smoking or hoarding or whatever. It's a combination of things, of who we are as a person, individual, our experiences, good, bad, and ugly. And I think,
One of the things that some coaches have is like a little mantra they say is that how you do one thing is how you do everything.
yeah,
So if there's an area of success in your life, you can bring that to other areas that aren't seeing that. And of course, the context is important. So something that works in one area may be a disaster in another.
right.
But how we do one thing, whether it's clutter in our physical space, or maybe it's just, hey, there's too much random healthcare stuff on our bathroom counter, right?
Sure.
uh it indicates that there might be clutter in other places. And sure, I think we've all had the experience of the whirlwind cleaning for a visitor, or somebody coming into the house. Maybe it's the cable person, or maybe it's maybe it's somebody we actually care about. But that clutter just kind of gets moved around. And when we go, oh wow, this is a really disorganized part of my life. Is there other areas like that as well? Sorry.
Yeah. No, I think it's true. And I think it affects everything. And we have to maybe also start to kind of realize who we are, maybe not who we were anymore, letting maybe that go, but who we are now and how we are able to process things, and to be able to have a common way that we can approach adversity, we can approach success, we can help transcend some of those things into other areas of our lives for the better. So today, we're going to talk about some hypnosis and organizing, because of course there's similar paths to freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's ultimately the real story, is kind of the connection here is it's about freedom.
yeah,
It's about actually being able to enjoy your life, have flow in what you're doing, be happy and proud of the life you're living. And that's something you do in the external space. And that's something I help people focus on, the order that they have and the power they have within themselves.
yeah.
So it's kind of coming at it from two different directions, the external world and the internal world, to create that good life like that.
And they feed into each other, I think, very
Absolutely.
strongly.
Absolutely.
Okay, so diving right in, kind of talking about a habit loop here. So how does hypnosis work exactly? Some people imagine kind of like dangling the pocket watch in front of someone, or watch the spiral, you start clucking like a chicken. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean,
So
It's not
I
nothing like
did
that.
eventually buy a pocket watch, and I think I used it once in a training for other hypnotists, just as a, hey, look, I actually found one. Um, but I was a hypnotist certified for years before I ever bought a pocket watch. And the truth is, our minds go into trance and trance-like states all the time. It is very common in where, if you're reading a book, you're tuning out the rest of the world as you engage your imagination to visualize the story or get a feel for what the characters are going through. And that goes for if you're reading an audiobook with your ears or reading with your eyes. You get focused in on that content. Many people have the experience of driving their car, and they're safely between the lines. They're even doing the speed limit, and maybe they miss their exit.
Shut up. Yeah.
Like
That's what I
almost
mean.
everybody has had this experience where their mind is busy going, oh, this thing happened in work, and what should I have said in this case, and this family member. Your mind is busy doing all these things, but some portion of your mind kept you alive in an intrinsically dangerous situation. A ton and a half of metal rolling down the road at 60 miles an hour with other big things around, and everything worked out fine. And this is just one of these ways where our mind can do two different things. The unconscious mind takes over all right, I'm going to keep you alive, buddy. While your conscious mind is busy like, what should I have said to my daughter? Like you've
Yep.
probably had this
Oh,
experience, right?
yes. Oh. Yeah, way too many times I care to admit.
So this is really what hypnosis is about. It's finding these places where we have access to an unconscious mind and just going, all right, this is where we want to be. We want to be talking to the unconscious mind. It understands the world differently than our conscious logical mind does.
Maybe clearing the pathway a little bit more to that,
Yeah.
right? So, because it is separate, but at the same time, I think it sounds like you're saying we need more to have a better, like a clear pathway to it,
Yeah.
back and forth.
Ultimately, the only problems a person can have is if their conscious and unconscious are not getting along.
Right.
Everything else that other people might decide is a problem is just something that a integrated human being is busy working on.
Yeah.
But when we are disintegrated that way, where our conscious mind is like, I think it needs to be this way, and our unconscious mind is like, I'm not so sure about that. Or did you consider this thing? Or, if because sometimes people's conscious and unconscious can actually get pretty antagonistic towards each other, even though they're sharing the same person.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can actually get pretty antagonistic, right? But the closer those, your unconscious mind is to what your conscious mind wants to do, and you're going in the same direction, there's really not much on earth that can stop a human being that is one human being.
Right.
There's just like all the people that we admire in our personal lives and, in history. These are characters who had very much of their conscious and unconscious going in the same direction to create something in the world, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I want to talk a little bit too about, like, because that's really powerful. And there's one of the things that people get stuck in, and I know I do too. And I mean, everyone does, I think, at some point, but I know I should, but I can't seem to, quote unquote. So, and I hear a lot of that from people, buried in clutter
Sure.
of various stuff. And so, but I know it's not really just about the stuff. I think it's about the fear, the guilt, the identity, the shame, even the grief of it all. So, I think it's really similar with the subconscious mind. I mean, it's all intertwined. And I think, kind of bringing these together, but yet in a healthy way and making sure,
Well, one way to one lens to look at this through is our unconscious mind is where our emotions live.
yeah,
So if it's an emotion that's coming up that is getting in the way of what you're trying to accomplish, then it's the unconscious mind that's like, this seems like not what we're in alignment to do.
Yeah.
Now, vice versa. If it's an emotion that's pushing you forward to do great things, it's also the unconscious mind. Just now it's like, yeah, let's make this happen. But if your unconscious mind is like, I think about this thing and I get overwhelmed. I think about this thing and I get sad. I think about this thing and there's grief or guilt or something like that. And these are a lot of emotions that are going to sap our energy to do those things. And it's natural that we're going to move a little bit slower on that. And frankly, in self-preservation, because most of us don't like to spend very much time in those emotions.
Yeah.
We might just not do those things, looking for a more happy existence. Like, can I block this out, sort of thing?
Yeah. No, and I think too, like being able to find that balance of, it's not necessarily all or nothing either. It doesn't have to be like a perfect utopia, because life isn't like that anyway. But being okay with maybe, good enough, safe enough, healthy enough. And I found too, like even with people's surroundings of how they store things, how they, keep their space. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the more that they chip away at it toward that, then eventually it does get closer and it gets easier and easier.
Yeah.
And I think maybe.
So two thoughts come to my mind here. One is just the simple, think of it like your computer. And you can have a browser open and the computer doesn't even hardly notice it's running a single browser window, right? And while I am definitely a person who runs a lot of browser windows, I've seen creators post their 900 some odd open tabs, right? Can you imagine the strain on a computer or the computer between our ears?
Yeah, it's still kind of the same concept.
If it's trying to manage 900 points of attention.
And what happens with the computer? Sorry to interrupt you, but that just, our brains are a computer, really. And what happens when you have too many applications open and running with your computer? It starts to slow down. It starts to freeze up. If you don't do something about it, it's going to crash.
Yeah.
And you're going to lose a lot of important things.
Yeah. And you might find yourself, like you're on a website, you click on a thing, nothing happens. You curse at the computer for a minute. Eventually, like it loads and it does the thing. And you find all this frustration. Now, what comes to my mind is that our minds, not only is there the mental clutter that just our thoughts, but a lot of times just our visual field, if it's full of lots of distinct things. Obviously, our visual field is always full of whatever it's full of.
Yeah.
But if there's lots of things that our brain is keeping track of, then each of those things gets a little point of attention at some level. We had to figure out what it is, had to figure out what that is, figure out what this is, figure out all these things and keep some awareness of where they are, because it's important that we don't, in the case, I've got a wall to my right here. It's important that my arm knows that there is a limit here beyond which I will either break this wall or my hand. So it's not a trivial thing. Our body has to be aware of all this stuff, and it's taking brain resources. One other thing that you said there that I think is really important is it's to do with how we focus on things. So if you've got a very cluttered situation and you plug away on it, making progress, if you focus on the progress you're making, if that's where your attention is, you can actually get a lot of really good feelings because your unconscious mind is like, look at what we did.
Mm-hmm.
This thing right here is not the way it's been for maybe 10 or 20 years. This thing is working well. And it's that focus on success that really can fuel us to go, I want more of it.
Yeah. That's interesting too, because it's kind of leading into parallels between decluttering and the quitting of bad habits. But one of the things I've noticed is when I've worked with clients who are crafting enthusiasts in particular. And I mean, that's a tough one sometimes because, it's fun, it's healthy, it's creative, it's therapeutic, right?
Yeah.
Possibilities are endless. But
absolutely.
It's a double-edged sword in a lot of ways, because if you don't keep your quantity in check, and quantity not just of your supplies, but the quantity of time you have to devote to it, the quantity of projects and like how many projects, right? It can also be detrimental and kind of defeat the purpose of it. And I think what ends up happening is not just people trying to work with people to let go of the quantity of items, but also the projects that they haven't started or resumed. And it's because if they don't let go of some of that, then that feeling of accomplishment, which is the whole purpose of having these projects to begin with, it actually starts that law of diminishing returns. Pretty soon, you're not actually getting that sense of accomplishment, which is the whole reason to have this hobby or this passion in the first place.
Yeah.
And so
What comes to my mind as you're talking about that is actually the getting things done methodology from David Allen.
yeah,
And this is about like when you have a long list of things that you want to do and they don't have specific placeholders for when you're going to do them, your unconscious mind thinks that it should be doing all of them at once. So even if you happen to be absolutely kicking butt on one thing,
it's still not good enough because you haven't finished these up.
you haven't finished these other things, so you can't enjoy it. And what that methodology does well is it's like, okay, everything goes in, it gets on a list. It's one thing at a time. It has different contexts for, are you traveling? Do you have a half hour or do you have an hour to deal with it? It breaks things up and it's got a lot of nuance to it. But ultimately what it does is it allows you to do exactly one thing in the moment and enjoy doing that one thing, which is all the things we can do very well. Like there's lots of research on multitasking, and absolutely, you can in certain contexts, you can get a little more out of multitasking. To use a likely to kill you example, you can absolutely text and drive. You become worse at both of them, as can be seen from all your friends who've texted you, and you're like, what are they trying to say? And you become something like 24 times more likely to be in a crash. You can multitask. And driving is probably one of the better examples of a place where people can multitask, but it's still likely to kill you.
Yeah.
Because neither thing happens as well. Humans do one thing, at least at a conscious level, well. And at the unconscious level, like we were talking about earlier, you can be thinking and driving, and your unconscious mind, so long as it's able to handle all that, it can go, all right, I'm going to take the driving, so the conscious mind can worry about that conflict.
Yeah.
But splitting the conscious attention is really dangerous for folks in terms of actually being productive. So,
yeah, no, I totally agree with that. So talking about quitting a habit, decluttering a space, they seem like siblings, right? So both could feel overwhelming, and both involve stuff that people feel strangely attracted and attached to.
Yeah.
And both are a lot easier with support. And there's always a moment that I encounter, and I don't know if you do too with your clients, but the what if, two worst words in the English language, I think, but still nevertheless, like, what if I need it someday?
Yeah.
Or, whether it's an old ashtray or 47 chargers for the phone that that they don't have anymore, or some device that they don't have anymore.
What if we suddenly come off the standard of having 3 different types of chargers and we need this thing that we haven't seen in the longest time, right?
Yeah. And so usually, some people are really, that's a tough thing to get past. And I know we all have it, to some extent, but I've always found like, okay, what is, let's say this does happen. What is the worst thing that's going to happen to you if you don't have it, if you need it later or you miss it? I mean, really, what is the worst thing?
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's going to be something where, I'm going to feel a little disappointed. I'm going to feel a little regret. But like, I'm going to say is probably 99% of the time, it's like, that's it. Yeah, that's it. We all feel disappointment from time to time in our life. We all have regret. Okay. What are you going to do? Well, I guess I have to go buy another one. All right. Is that so bad? I mean, probably not really. So,
I think that's a really excellent point that um, a lot of times we get concerned that we might feel a thing. And in our culture, um, feelings get a little bit of bad rap.
yeah.
You know, it's got to be positive, good vibes only. I saw a sign on somebody's near somebody's door recently, beach vibes only. But there's this thought that if it's slightly unpleasant, we can't deal with it. And the truth is, we've all gone through our childhood. We've had all the emotions that come with that. We've survived those, and we will continue to survive unpleasant things that come up. And unpleasant things are just a way for us to know, like sadness and grief. These are ways to let us know what was really important to us. So if these come up, they just are a reminder that there's some stuff that matters.
Yeah.
Now, is it one of 48 phone chargers? I suppose possibly. Is it reminding you of a good time in your life? A little more likely.
Yeah.
When maybe you get a good feeling about being one of the first people to have that particular cell phone, or I'm spacing on the name of the uh, cell phone that had the keyboard for a while.
Oh, is that BlackBerry?
Yeah, the Blackberries,
Yeah.
where like people thought that was the coolest thing to have. I know my brother. He was kind of one of the youngest people in his school in high school to have a cell phone of his own, a smartphone, and it was a big deal at that time.
Yeah.
And for a high schooler at the right time, in the right backwoods sort of location, this is like somebody in a more affluent area rolling up with a Porsche in high school. Like it matters, right? And it has good vibes associated to it. And so those can get transferred onto things that happen to remind it. Maybe it's the charger for that cell phone.
Yeah.
And we can have these sorts of things that get the good vibes. It's kind of this halo effect where they're associated mentally with something else that actually was important to us. And now they're just a trigger or a reminder of that thing. And we want to keep that around because it reminds us of this good time.
You know what? There's something about that too, because learning to one of the things I constantly preach about is trying to cycle things out. Everything's finite. And you and I talked about this before too, as we both very well know, things are finite. Pretty much everything is finite, really, at some point. And being able to continue cycling out things so we can make room for the things that are more useful and beneficial to us in the present. And I think, for instance, like having a BlackBerry, right? Like you had the very first BlackBerry and it had some significance for you. And I think if you have the room to display it properly, to keep it maintained properly, where it's visual and it is serving its purpose, even if it's sentimental, that's one thing. But if you're just keeping it to keep it, but you don't actually have it out anywhere, now it's actually taking up space. And I think, again, if you're just keeping it to have a memory, then, I mean, it's still something that's in the past. It's done. Good, bad, and ugly. It is past. It's done. And, having these physical reminders, like how necessary is it? Because the memory is still there.
The memory's still there.
And not having the tactile thing doesn't cancel that out.
Yeah, it's ultimately it's an option about how you want to access the benefits and the resources of our past.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we live in a society that has more museums than it has Starbucks, despite the fact that we believe we have more Starbucks than anything.
Yeah.
Which is great because I've had some great experiences learning from the museum close to my house about the city long before I was born. It was just absolutely fascinating about the life people lived, the upheavals that happened.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad that I have a museum close to us. And also there are things that I hang on to that probably weirdest thing. And it's in my office. It is a used laundry detergent bottle.
Okay.
Now, this thing is from when I was in school, way back for sciences, and I had field camp. Now, field camp was held at about 7,000 foot elevation. And of course, at that student time, I'm trying to be very frugal. So I use what of that I need to, and there's still some left as I'm coming back from Wyoming back down to sea level here in Seattle. That container, like crumples in on itself thanks to the increased air pressure. So when I see that, and honest to goodness, it is on top of like the little wardrobe rack that I had in my office so that I can pick which suit to wear, right? It reminds me, that's right. I went to a place that was physically difficult and I grew stronger from that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take up a lot of space to have that, but it's a nice little, oh yeah. It's not like I buy that brand anymore. The soap in that has long run out. But
it's serving its purpose for you still.
Exactly.
It still has a purpose for you.
Yeah.
It may not forever.
Mhm.
And maybe at some point you're like, okay, it's done. It's fulfilled that purpose for me. Now it's time to really put it where it needs to go, which is not with me. But in the moment for here and now, you've got the place to store it. You can let it fulfill its purpose in your life. And that is the reminder of that you still need.
And that reminds me that, from time to time, my girlfriend will go, what are we doing with this? And I'm like, I was saving that for a reason. I don't remember what that reason is. It's no longer serving any purpose for me. It can go. Like if it stops being of benefit in my life, well then maybe its time has come. It is now trash because it's no more warm and fuzzy for me. It's no more inspiring. Our history can be, whether, we have a tactile, it can be really useful to have mementos that we take from vacations or special times. People that we want to remember. That can be, really empowering. So long as we're thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
You don't want to have your space cluttered up with like low quality mementos or mementos that don't, connect you with something important.
And something, I think it's not just something important, but I think it's also something that actually benefits you in a healthy way. Because I do find a lot of people also hang on to things that have bad memories attached to it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. And, we can go, that'll be probably a whole other podcast for us, but
Sure.
Like letting go of some of those bad things that we've attached ourselves to as well, giving us the freedom from that to move on from that, not necessarily forgetting, but just being able to move on.
I think that you said something really key there. It's not forgetting that's important. And certainly sometimes the way to move on from things is just forget. Like, I don't remember what this did for me. It can go.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's the lesson that we take from a thing.
Yeah.
Or an experience. So it can be something that's very negative in the moment. And when we learn the appropriate life lesson from that, ultimately kind of the end stage in healing from any trauma is very often looking back at that thing that everybody else is going to go, I'm glad that didn't happen to me. And going, well, actually, I am glad that I had this experience. I would not repeat it, but I'm glad because it taught me.
It makes you who you are now, and the
Exactly.
lessons, the valuable lessons that you took away from. And those wouldn't have happened unless these things happened
Exactly.
before.
It makes us a better person than we would have been without it.
Yeah. I think too, one of the things I talk to clients about is also, recognizing like whose memories are you trying to preserve by keeping these things, right? Is it your memory of something, first and foremost, not someone else's memories of something? I mean, as an example, I've talked about this before, with my late mother. One of the things I had was her high school graduation cap. And when she passed away, of course I held on to it because it was very important to her. Yeah. Right. But after a while, maybe because I started professional organizing.
Yeah.
But, no one wanted it. The high school didn't want it. My grandmother didn't want it. My uncle, her brother didn't want it. No one wanted it.
Yeah.
And after a while, and I had mine too. It's like, okay, now I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at my daughters. I'm like, how many graduation caps are they going to be stuck with when my time comes? Plus theirs, right? And it just dawned on me, I guess at one point, I'm like, I'm just going to let this go. I'm going to put it in the trash because I don't know what else to do with it anymore. I mean, I know it's important to my mom, but she's gone. I wasn't even born then.
Yeah.
And anyone else that was involved in that moment that remember it doesn't want it. And it wasn't anything against my mom. So I was at peace with it.
For your mom, it was a reminder of the effort, the learning she had to go
Yeah.
through to get a degree, right?
Yeah.
And she put a lot of time, a lot of energy, probably a lot of like sleepless nights or crying over the homework.
Yeah.
Like a lot of effort went into it to create the life that created you.
Right.
And anytime she would have seen it, she would have remembered, oh yeah, I'm a little bit of a badass. I was able to create this. I was able to push through hard times and make this happen. So for her, it makes sense
Yeah.
that she would want to hang on to that. It's because it's doing a job.
Yeah.
It reminds her of how powerful she is, and anytime she comes up to a new conflict, she can see that thing display wherever it is and
Although it
go,
was buried in a box. Under
if
many
it's
other
buried in a
things,
box,
but-
it might be getting close to time.
But still, I know the reason I understand that, and that's exactly, I think, why she kept it.
Mhm.
I mean, just like the way why I kept mine.
Yeah, I mean, we put a lot of effort into our education, whether it's, academic education or professional education, certification, or even hobby education. We put a lot of ourselves into it. And it's great to have a memento of that, but put it where it gets to impact your day.
And you know what, with my mom in that example in particular, when I did get rid of it, I did feel at peace. And there hasn't been any paranormal activity going on in my house. So I think my mom's probably at peace with it too, wherever she is now.
Yeah.
But, also I got rid of my graduation calves. The reason being, again, thinking ahead a little bit, okay, in the reality, how many are these we're supposed to be collecting here for my daughters, right?
Yeah.
On and on and on. And I've got what I needed out of those. And I've got my mementos. I got my diploma on my wall. All of my high school and my college graduation diplomas,
Yeah.
right? Those are the things that, for me, are really important for this life and my life.
Yeah.
My daughters, not so much. They can do what they want when I die with it. But I feel like it's really important for people to really think about, why are they keeping something? Whose memories are they honoring here? Because someone who's not with us anymore, their time has come and gone, for better or worse. So it's really important about preserving the things that are important for your memories.
Yeah. No,
and usefulness to you.
I would be very flattered if after I'm gone from the mortal coil, that there be something that reminds the people who met me, the people who I influenced, preferably my children, that, dad did this thing, right? Dad was, this kind of person, to the extent that it inspires them, helps them work harder, reminds them that they can be resilient. To the extent that that's true, I definitely want to be remembered.
And fulfilled that purpose for them.
So that's the legacy I want. The legacy I want is not that my mortarboard from my graduation, which is meaningful for me, it is, honest to goodness, still up on display inside the entrance of my house, right? Because when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I did that. Oh, it was insane. It was insane on multiple levels, but I did it.
Fulfilling its purpose for you
Yeah.
in your life, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's meant to do. And beyond that, it's kind of out of our hands.
Mhm.
And I think it's really important for people to kind of get back to that kind of basics. And that way they're not cluttering themselves up mentally and physically with becoming a storage warehouse for generations, people dead or alive.
Yeah.
And being really focused on what's most important.
One other thought that comes to my mind as you're talking about that kind of generational clutter is there's this thought of, I believe it's called Swedish death cleaning.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And it's basically this idea that you spend the first part of your life acquiring a bunch of stuff that you'll need for everything. And after about middle age, you start to winnow it down, realizing that your descendants aren't going to want to sort through all of this nonsense. There's going to be stuff that you won't want them to see. There's going to be stuff that they won't want to see. There's going to be stuff is just going to be meaningless for you and for them.
Yeah.
And to any extent that you can make, when you finally physically pass, as straightforward for them as possible, it's better for you. It's better for them. It doesn't leave a lot of loose, untied kind
And
of
they can
psychic
focus
energy.
on what is really most important. Most
Absolutely.
likely for them, it's going to be honoring the memories and the experiences that they had with you and the impact that you had on life, not the actual stuff that
Yeah.
you left behind, which is now adding more for them to manage and
Yeah.
care for. And literally everything needs maintenance.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, for real.
okay. So I want to, before we run out of time, I want to, so I want us to talk a little bit about what some of, because everything's evolving, I believe. And I still have organizing dilemmas of my own. And
Okay.
I'm sure you probably have some subconscious things that you work through as well, just as, again, we're still continuing to learn. So tell me, what is maybe some of the things that you, using the skills that you have as a hypnotist and helping others, what are some of the things that you actively have to apply those toward in your life? What's your challenge?
Organizing for me, like as I was thinking about this, there are two, I mean, my house is in no way like this, despite my girlfriend's significant efforts, is no way some sort of like, model house, right?
Right.
But a couple areas that come to my mind is uh, just the amount of things I want to accomplish in this life and how that diffuses my effort. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and like we were saying, if you spread your effort too thin, you don't get to have the completion. So I am absolutely one with a great many tabs open. And so I know very viscerally what it's like to have the computer. You click on the thing, and the computer's like, "I'll get to you. I'm going to spin this little thing here for a little while while we figure out where I'm going to find enough RAM for that." So that's one area. And quite frankly, my desk where I see a lot of my clients virtually through Zoom, and my desk has a lot of stuff on it that is probably could find a better home. Some stuff I was actually thinking, well, that corner of the desk over there actually has stuff that it's probably time that it go, because it's it's probably time that it get archived, because it is like deep records, but I don't anticipate looking at it ever, right?
Right.
Mercifully, in the context of helping people on Zoom, I bring all my attention to exactly what's going on with them. I've got my notes, I've got them, and I'm not looking at the rest of everything else.
Yeah.
And, that's the whole world for me. But it is when I pull my focus away, or I'm not as focused as I am with a client. There's a lot of stuff here. There's well, oh, and then there's like, oh my gosh, well, I gotta find a home for it.
Mhm.
Where does it go? Oh, that's a receipt. I really should have put that in where the receipts go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is a note from my networking. Well, I really, I would like to be the person who processes that more quickly. So those are two areas for me that this has kind of reminded me I would benefit from considering more of a priority, right?
Yeah. And I think, one of the things I struggle with, even as an organizer, right? And my home is not perfectly organized. In fact, no one's ever perfectly organized. You never arrive, really. It's an ongoing, ever
I
evolving.
think that's so important to realize that it's not about like reaching some state of perfection. It's about reaching a state that works with the life you want to live.
Yeah.
In like, there are actually like time use studies going back for, I think, more than half a century now. And people used to spend a great deal of time like vacuuming under their bed, basically. Like
Yeah.
they would clean spots that nobody cleans these days.
Yeah.
And the social expectation was different back then. And now one of the things that has allowed modern parents to spend more time with their kids, both male and female, is we do less cleaning.
Yeah.
And in a very large way, that's actually a good thing.
Because it's prioritizing.
Yeah. For prioritizing the stuff that matters.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you can and I think you've probably seen people like organize for the sake of organizing, where it takes up massive amounts of time trying to like, like trim milliseconds off of finding processes, and everything's, displayed just so, and they bought a lot of stuff, and it becomes a little bit of time clutter to have organizational clarity.
Yeah.
And so long as that continues to like, if that's their hobby, golden. Like,
Yeah.
everybody has hobbies, cool. But if it's in the way of the things they're trying to do, that's where it becomes, a weight that's holding them back. And so I think you're right on the money with this is about creating the life you want to live, feeling the way you want to feel, having efficiencies in your life that allow you to do the things that matter to you, not the things that society tells you should matter to you, or that, somebody persuaded you to be involved in,
Yep.
and, or hand-me-downs from your ancestors. It's about the life that you want to live.
Yeah. No, I think that's spot on. And one of the things too, I think like with my home and my challenges is, again, my home's not perfectly organized at all. In fact, if you saw the clean laundry on my bedroom floor, because none of us in my household really enjoy doing laundry,
Okay.
including myself, but still, I mean, at least it's clean.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything in my home, I've gotten to the point where everything does have a home.
Mhm.
So we do know where to put it
Yeah.
when we're done with it. Whether we actually do that or not on a regular basis, there's a lot of area of improvement.
Yeah.
But one thing though, I say my challenge has started to become now is learning to, one, give myself more cushions of time for things, but also learning to let go of trying to get everything organized.
Yes. Yeah.
And knowing that all I can really do is what I have control over. So that's probably my home, meaning like, I do have more organizing control than I would in here at the library or wherever else, or even someone else's, even a client's home, because ultimately they're in charge, right?
Yeah.
Of their space. And so being able to let go of that and still be productive, right? And do the best I can with what I have control of, and be okay with letting go of other people's inefficiencies and not trying to fixate on that and trying to feel like I have to fix that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're, people are responsible for themselves by and large, including their maturity and how they want to do things. And Michelle, I have to say this to myself sometimes, they know what you do most of the time. They know you're a professional organizer. If they really want to know what you think or really want your help, rest assured they're going to ask for it. You don't have to barge your way through the front door with it. Even though they probably really could use some help. You know it, maybe they know it too. But nevertheless, step back. When they want your help, they're going to ask for it. Until then, just focus on what you can do with your life.
No, I think there's so many good things that you said in there. There's the organizing your own mind as an example of this is what we get when we do this thing. Just like I organize my life in the hypnosis is awesome. It helps me deal with the life that I'm living. It helps me be effective in this area and that area and the other. It helps me be happy about the person that I am. This is why I think it's important for a hypnotist to engage in hypnosis. So, I when I'm teaching students, it's reciprocal. We're working on a problem. Here I bring up a problem, you work on me. And I've got colleagues, and sometimes they're having an issue, and sometimes I'm having an issue, and it's been a huge help to me. And I think that's when you live this is what organization can do for you. It allows me to live a life where I know where things go. I get to be in balance with my kids and my life and all the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
I think where people are dissuaded from doing a thing is where they look at it and they see either you're not using it, which can be a big problem, or you're using it like it's this magic talisman and you're overusing it basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a problem where people go, I don't think I want to live that life.
Yeah.
But when people go, she seems cool, I wish I was a little bit more like her. I think that's where, people go, okay, so I've got this situation and it looks like this. Like, is there a product that I should use that helps to organize that? Michelle, what do you do for this situation? I think that's where that comes up, you know?
I think so too. And I think, really one of the things you talked about was, helping the helper. Like we all still sometimes need a refresh and a check in. And I think I've learned a lot of organizing tips from clients,
Oh, nice. Okay.
not just like the products they've used, but just some of the ideas that, yeah, other areas are really definitely need some help and some fresh eyes other than theirs. But they've also had some areas that worked really well that I'm like, yeah, I'm going to start using that. Great idea.
Yeah.
So I think, we learn from our clients.
Hmm.
And also I think, and I don't remember which book, maybe it was David Ellett or James Scaliar, or one of the books
Hmm.
about these sort of things, but is, doctors need to heal themselves first. You secure your own oxygen mask before
Yeah.
you assist others. And I think along the way, kind of keeping ourselves in check
Hmm.
where we, you know, continue to learn new things. We don't become arrogant. We don't become so kind of bullheaded that this is the only way, because then we get stuck in our ways, and that's not good either. So it kind of keeps our minds
And
fresh.
what a recipe for boredom too.
Yeah.
Like if you've learned all there is to learn and you've mastered all the processes that you can master, uh, that is, in terms of like flow state, that is kind of the definition of boredom is you're more than equal to every challenge that there is. You're better than everything. And on that side of the curve,
That's that seems boring, and it seems lonely.
yeah, yeah, both of those things.
Yeah. Well, I think we're just about out of time here, Jonathan. I think we could continue on going on forever with this, and I think we should definitely do this again.
I'm not opposed to that at all.
Awesome. No, this was really fun. And so I think for now, I think for you, so today's the day I think you need to start clearing your space on your desk. So my challenge to you is I want you, when you get back to your desk and you have a few minutes, just a few minutes, I want you to think about what is the thing that you really need to have at your desk all times, right? What are those things that you really need to have right there all the time, right? So you're not interrupting anything to get those things, whether it's a tape dispenser, stapler, pen, sticky pad, what have you. Those are the things that should be on your desk at the end of every night. What are the things that at the end of every night, you spend a few minutes putting in their home? So I want today, when you get back to your desk, I want you to figure out what those things are. And the things that have a home that are very quick and easy, that you know exactly where they need to go, put them away. Everything else that's left on your desk, this is what I really want you to sit and think about is, okay, these things don't have homes.
Mm-hmm.
Now what do I do with them? Now, are they benefiting me or are they not? What do I do with them? And maybe we can leave that into the next one. But I want you to sit and think about that. And I want it to be something, when you have these things left on your desk, they're meant to be kind of annoying, right?
Yeah.
And so let's maybe pick it up from there. I want to hear your thoughts of when you do that, what that feels like, and what you think you're going to do about it.
I think that's a really good point. I'm thinking of something in particular that needs to be archived.
Okay.
And quite frankly, the things that I usually need day to day are actually there on the desk. So that part's really good.
Now, are they accessible and have a spot where at the end of the day, you put them back in that spot so your desk is...
Oh, no, they sit right in the middle of everything.
Well, I think, so I think, Jonathan, that's your organizing challenge is I want you to do that. I want you to think about where things go. And if they don't have a home, how hard is it going to be for you to find a home for them? And if, again, layer by layer, okay, how difficult is it really? What am I going to have to do to make a home for this thing? So really, how important is it?
Mm-hmm.
And go through that process. Just start with your desk. Don't worry about anything else in your home. Start with that. And then I want you to report back to me on what that experience is like and maybe what you think is a solution for it. And then we
Nice.
can talk about it next time.
Awesome.
Okay. So I want to thank you, Jonathan, for your wisdom, your humor, and of course your heart, because I think both of our hearts are in the right place for these sort of things. And I think I want to be able to help, of course, help people be able to help themselves. So of course, whatever I can do to help get your message out, I'd be very happy to do that. So I think, your book, The Change, Insights into Self-Improvement, we should be able to find that on your website. And your website's imhypnosis.com.
Imhypnosis.com. Actually, it's not on the website. It's you got to talk to me to get it.
Okay. But we can do that through your website.
Yes. There's a form on the website to reach me. Also, the email for me is Jonathan, JONATHAN, at the letter I, the letter M, hypnosis.com.
Okay. And your organization's Iron Mind Hypnosis.
Yeah, Iron Mind Hypnosis.
Okay, great. Well, I think I'm definitely going to continue referring people to you. And, as you know, I already have. And so I'm going to continue doing that. And I think together we're going to be able to help people make peace and space for what really matters. So.
Yeah. And by the way, I just wanted to lavish a little bit of praise on you for you've taken on a mission in this world, not just to like clean your own space. That's a good, noble thing, but to share with other people and learn from other people, what it takes to make the best use of our space and our time. Because I think we all want to be living a life where we have not an abundance of useless stuff, but abundance of the good experiences, abundance of impact in the world. That's the kind of abundance that we really want to have in life, is an abundance of freedom. And that's something I think you help your clients create for themselves. When you come in and go, have you tried this? Have you tried that? So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Well, again, thank you for joining me, Jonathan, and for being my very first guest on the very first podcast. And I will be putting these on my website and my social media as well. So if people want to review clips of this, I'll be doing that as well. But thank you, sir. And I look forward to next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending time with us today. If you loved this episode, leave a review and share it with a friend who's drowning in clutter. And if you're ready for one-on-one help, you can always find me at fosterorganizing.com. Until next time, take a deep breath and start small.